I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in the cradles, profanities. I see the world through ice covered in ink and bleach. Cross out the ones who heard my cries and watched me weep.
What's up, motorsports fans from around the world, and welcome to the Driving in Circles podcast. This is episode 1, the pilot, with your host Kyle Cadrigal. And since this is our first episode, I'd just like to formally introduce some of our my co-hosts on this show. We got 2 regulars, and for this first episode, we have a special guest with us. I think we should introduce our first primary co-host.
Hi, my name's Cory Johnson.
Hello, my name's James Ashbourne Jr.
What up? My name's Rosendo Zarate Jr. I run the Home Cup Diecast account. I guess I'm the special guest for today, so all I do is talk about diecast.
All right, cool. Well, Cory, let's just hop right into this. You're covering our first story Saturday, the Xfinity Series at the Charlotte Roval. Just give us the breakdown from your opinion.
All right, so excuse me. As a matter of fact, when I was watching this race, I was chilling at Walmart, clogging up the aisles, because I was so enthralled with the racing and the drama that we had in the Xfinity race. But in all seriousness, AJ Allmendinger got the win. It was a good battle with Ty Gibbs. There was a lot of kerfuffles between Noah Gragson and the field, basically, as usual. So, yeah, solid race. AJ won, undefeated at the Roval still, and he is getting hot at the right time in the playoffs if he wants to go in this championship. So,
yeah, that's definitely right. I mean, AJ Allmendinger, he is what would we consider the god of road courses at this point? I mean, the guy's unstoppable.
Yeah, it's crazy when you can dominate that specific race. He's to win 4 of them is just insane. I hope they come out with that diecast in the 164. So it's such a beautiful diecast, the Nutrigen car.
Let's look at the starting lineup, and then we'll go through stage 1, stage 2, and then we'll go through the finishing results here. AJ Allmendinger on pole. Well, I mean, nothing really interesting about that. We all knew it. Even the blind guy could predict that. Let's go to stage 1, won by AJ Allmendinger. Absolutely just dominated that first section of the race. No really competition besides Ty Gibbs there. Sage Karam P10 in stage 1 though. In stage 2, James, I know this is your guy, Brandon Jones. He did what he needed to do. How do you feel about him?
He won stage 2 because of a ballsy move not to pit and just stay out to get the points, and I think that's what ultimately ended up getting him into the next round because he only advanced by like 2 points. It was very stressful, but by God, he did it. Yeah, it made me grow a couple of gray hairs, but he did it.
James, I know you love Brandon Jones like that, and especially that entire JGR Xfinity program. Speaking of that, AJ Allmendinger, he won the race. But if we look down this finishing order, absolutely insane. This race, I'd say, is up with Talladega levels of insanity. I mean, you see guys like James Davison, who he signed a 1 race contract with JGR in that 18 car, finished 4th. Cory, he did not have a left front fender for a majority of that 3rd stage. Let's go through the next part. Oh, Alex Labay in P6. Great run for him. He's one of those extreme road course racers. Ryan Sieg in P9. He tried really hard. He only got eliminated by a couple of points there at the end. Myatt Snyder, great road racer, 13th. Daniel Kvyat. James, I know you're an F1 guy. How do you feel about Daniel Kvyat in that 26 Sam Hunt Racing car getting that top 15?
I think it was an amazing drive, especially because, majority of the other guys, you had the open wheel guys in the cup race and, you have all those guys and they usually don't do too well. And he avoided all the chaos. He kept his nose clean. He had a really good battle for the top 10. Ultimately ended up losing out, but still it was a great drive for Daniel Kvyat.
Yeah, I mean, let's take a look at these playoff standings for the round of 8 for the Xfinity Series. As we know, this was a cutoff race. The four that didn't make it was Ryan Sieg, Daniel Hemrick, Riley Herbst, and Jeremy Clemens. I mean, this was the first elimination race for the Xfinity playoffs. Let's just go through a couple of the guys that got eliminated. Jeremy Clemens finished over 60 points below the cut line. I mean, he was actually mathematically eliminated before even the last race. Um, Ryan Sieg, as I said, had a great battle there trying to make it to the end. So did Daniel Hemrick. Riley Herbst had a good battle there before he ended ultimately crashing. Let's look through this. Noah Gragson comes in as your points leader. I know as this group right here, we feel very controversial. I know, Jose, how you feel about Noah Gragson. I know we're very polar over here on the likeness for Noah Gragson.
Noah Gregson, I mean, he clearly, him and Ty Gibbs are really the cars to beat for the season. I think Allmendinger's up there for a bit, but clearly the title favorite, in my opinion, him or Gibbs. Really good for Noah Gregson.
Yeah, and then we got AJ Allmendinger, Ty Gibbs, Justin Allgaier, Josh Berry, Austin Hill, Brandon Jones, and Sam Mayer. That's 4 junior motorsports cars in that top 8. I mean, that's got to say something about their just overall performance, their consistency. I mean, James, they got to be doing something right, right?
Most definitely doing something right. There's a really good chance that they get all junior motorsports guys into the top 8. It's a long shot, but there's a really good chance. They already have two already technically in the top 4 with Noah Gragson and Justin Allgaier, but I wouldn't be surprised if Josh Berry gets in there. And it's a long shot, but Sam Mayer can maybe get his way up into the championship round. And I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't like it, but I wouldn't be surprised if we get an all junior motorsports Final Four.
Yeah, that just says something about them. That's gonna wrap it up for the Xfinity on Saturday. Not much racing. There was only 3 main races this weekend. James, F1 Saturday morning or Sunday morning, technically Saturday night for a lot of us in Suzuka. What happened?
Rain, rain. That's pretty much it. Rain won.
That's not
Uh,
accurate. That's not accurate.
Rain won. It started pouring before the race, just like we saw at Singapore last week. But the FIA decided we're not going to call it off. We're not going to go an hour later. They decided to go as normal. They run the race. They start the race at normal time. And then it was just madness on the first lap. Absolutely monsooning conditions. Sainz crashed out. Vettel spun out. Albon had a mechanical problem. A lot of madness on the first lap. I'm sure Guan Yu Zhou also spun out. And they eventually ended up red flagging the race for hours and hours on end.
Yeah, on that red flag, huge controversy there involving Pierre Gasly. When the red flag was thrown out, what happened there exactly, James? Because a lot of people might have not seen what they were covering on the rain delay.
So what happened was is that they brought out under the safety car, might I add, they brought out a tractor to pick up the wrecked car of Carlos Sainz. As I said, he crashed on the first lap. They brought out a tractor to come pick his car up. But all the cars except for Pierre Gasly, who started on the pit lane, which is very important, he started in the pit lane far behind the whole pack. While all the cars were tucked up close behind the safety car, Pierre Gasly was still going full speed to try and catch up to the pack under safety car conditions, might I add, and sped by the tractor. See, personally, I think this wouldn't have been a problem if Pierre Gasly was tucked up behind the pack like everyone else. And I feel like Pierre Gasly is probably at fault for speeding under the safety car and eventually under red flag conditions.
Yeah, that was very dangerous, especially with those people out there, and especially with the spray of just the cars. there was very low visibility there, and he was going as fast as you can on those wet conditions. And the tractor could have been out on the track, and he would have not known until it was too late. So, James, let's go through the finish here because we got some big news to talk about.
See, we could talk about Max Verstappen clinching the title. We could talk about Sebastian Vettel with an amazing comeback. We could talk about all of that.
Oh
We
boy.
could. We
Oh
could.
boy. I know where this is going. I know
But
where
we
this is
got to
going.
talk about
Here we
Nicholas
go.
Latifi in
Oh,
the
Oh.
P9. Two
Oh my god.
championship points. We can no
Oh my
longer call him.
god.
We
man.
can no
Oh
longer
my
say that he is
god.
21st in the 20 driver grid. Nicholas Latifi.
Tomatoes.
Amazing
Are
drive,
you
a
repping both
brilliant
Canadians
strategy.
now? Are you repping both Canadians now?
Driver
Are you
I
good.
might
repping both
have to.
Canadians?
If you're not
Well,
gonna respect
guys,
them, we
Oh
gotta
my
guys,
respect them.
welcome to the Driving in Circles podcast, where we value Nicholas Latifi over Max Verstappen.
Yes,
You heard it
Well,
here.
most definitely.
Put that on a T-shirt, folks.
Put that on
well,
a t-shirt. Most definitely, most definitely. But of course, we do have to talk about Max Verstappen sadly locking up the World Drivers' Championship.
Super
I'm
Max.
putting, boy, I'm putting on the Red Bull as we speak. Two times.
Y'all just bullying me. This is a shame. This is a shame.
This is
Nah,
absolute a
This
shame.
is a
It's the
travesty.
victim. It's the victim complex for me, sis. It's the victim complex. It's
That's a
giving
shame.
victim. It's
Hey,
giving victim
okay.
for
Well,
me.
let's see here. What do we got?
Okay,
We have the
okay,
Max
okay.
Verstappen championship. The funny
Two
thing
times.
was is that he didn't even know they had clinched the championship. He had gone into parts for him. He got into he got into the celebration room already, into that little sweat box they got going on over there. And he's like, "Did you?" Charles asked him, "Did you clinch the championship?" And Max is like, "No." He's like, "No, no clinch." It's not until who was that? I believe it was Jensen Button who talked to him on the podium that said, "You have clinched your second World Drivers' Championship."
That's a big blunder by the FIA. I have no clue. I could look up the rules. I could read them 1,000 times, and I could still tell you I have exactly no clue what they were doing, handing out the points. They say if a race is only run halfway or a quarter of the way, points are handed out way differently. But and I don't know what to say on the FIA's part. Mass confusing for even the drivers and the team owners.
Yeah, I mean, let's just go through this finishing order. Of course, Max Verstappen gets his 12th win on the Formula One season.
A shame.
Um, uh, Jose's favorite F1 driver, Sergio Perez, P2, baby. How you
He
feeling?
put the pressure on Charles Leclerc towards the end of that
Oh my
race.
god.
Made him slip up, and it was like, no, Charles, come back to P3. Gave Checo the Red Bull 1-2. So no, yeah, solid performance by Checo as always. You love to see it. Love to see it.
I'm on the opposite end. When I watched Charles Leclerc blow through that last chicane, I wanted to get onto that Suzuka circuit and wish he hit me.
You wanted to jump off a cliff. Just say that, dog. We blunt around here. Just say you wanted to jump off a cliff, dog. It's all right.
It's
It's all right. You're
okay.
good, son. It's
We'll
good.
get him next year. Insert meme of
You it
Italian
don't
of
Kyle,
Italian loading a pasta
it is
gun.
Ferrari. Kyle, it is Ferrari. You've been saying we'll get him next year since 2008. Just let it go. Just let it go, Kyle. Just let it go.
I can't.
It's
I
been
can't.
2008 was the last time a Ferrari won a championship. Come
We'll
And
get
on.
him
even
next
then, they
year.
won the drivers' champion. They didn't even win the drivers' championship. You know who
James
they
loves
lost
that
it
fact.
to? You know who
Oh
they
boy.
lost it to? The
Mika
GOAT,
Hakkinen.
7-time Lewis Hamilton.
Oh,
Just saying. Just saying.
All
Just saying.
right. Okay. In P4, we got Esteban Ocon. Amazing drive. We all know that he's a great wet weather racer. Lewis Hamilton in P5. Sebastian Vettel and Fernando Alonso in P6, P7. An iconic picture was taken for the finish of that race, side by side, coming to the line. Fernando on the inside, Sebastian on the outside. Two veterans It's a picturesque picture. The other Mercedes driver of George Russell in P8, Nicholas Gotifi, taking out his Williams career on points. It's clear that it's clearly not the driver's issue. It's clearly the car.
Clearly the car.
Clearly the car. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Absolutely.
Lando Norris in P10, rounding it out. Let's go through here. We got Daniel Ricciardo, P11. That seems to be the story of his 2022 season. Lance Stroll, P12. Yuki Tsunoda, P13. Very disappointing for home. His first home GP. Magnussen, Bottas, Zhou. Then we got Schumacher, Pierre Gasly, and then 2 DNFs of Carlos Sainz and Alexander Albon.
Overall, a pretty bad race at Japan. There was a few high spots, but with it being a timed race, not very fun for the fans, not very
Dog,
fun
did
for
you
the
just say a
drivers.
high spot? Did you say high spot like it's like a damn AEW event? Did you just say a high spot? We having ladder spots at Coda next week, James. Is that what we're gonna have?
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Oh my goodness.
All right.
Anyway.
Let's go to Sunday afternoon with the Charlotte Roval. Everybody had this race circled right after Talladega. Probably not a lot of people too happy about having those two races back to back, like the car.
Christopher Bell, you know what? Let's just jump to this. Christopher Bell won, and nothing else happened after that. And nothing
Yes,
else.
the
Now let's just
defending.
move on.
I agree. I
Let's
agree with
nothing else
Cory.
happened.
Yeah, no, nothing
Yes,
else happened.
yes, definitely the defending champion Kyle Larson and championship hopeful Daniel Suarez definitely did not get eliminated from the playoffs here by something that was completely out of their control.
No.
No, I don't know.
Elimination, discrimination. What is that? What? No.
All right. Well, let's go through the whole weekend here. We got the starting lineup. Joey Logano on pole. I was pretty deflated after seeing that on a Friday afternoon coming back from school. Just seeing a Joey Logano pole really just
kind of flaccid, if you ask me.
It kind of just hit me right in the chest.
Extremely flaccid, if you ask.
And then
no
Joey
erection.
Logano ended up winning stage 1. That was just like a kick in the nuts for everybody.
What is with you
Chastain.
and the nuts, Kyle? What is with us and the nuts? First I said flaccid, then you said kick in the nuts.
All right.
What's going on
Ross
here?
Chastain, stage 2 winner, needed that win. He needed the points to get himself into the next round.
If he didn't get those points, he probably got eliminated. That's the crazy part. That's
Most
just
likely
how smart.
would have.
That's how smart these crew chiefs are.
Now, where the money is at, the race, stage 3, the massive incidents at the end. How the hell did Christopher Bell go from 8th on the second to last restart to a win?
All he did was channeled Mass Kansas in the old DeWalt vehicle and drove his way through the front with the fresh tires like it's NASCAR Heat 5 and just stormed through the field, shaboing boing Kevin Harvick up out of there as the field literally spontaneously combusted on numerous occasions behind them. And that's all that happened. Nothing else was affected.
I agree.
Okay, let's go. Well, let's go through this running order, or let's go through this finishing order here. Kevin Harvick P2. He was literally a non-factor all day. Great to see him actually finish a race and not get absolutely hammered by a massive penalty.
No, Kyle. He was a non-factor until he tried to murder AJ Allmendinger.
Oh yes, that is Kyle Busch. This is his first top 10 since Daytona.
That is disgusting. That is absolutely.
That is his first top 10 since Daytona.
Hurts to see.
Where he finished 10th. Now, if we want to go back and find a race where he finished top 5, we'd have to go all the way back to Gateway.
Insane.
God.
What a terrible season for Kyle Busch. He doesn't deserve it.
Hey, personally, I just like to see him go to RCR already. I think it's time for a change.
He doesn't deserve this.
P4 AJ Allmendinger, P5 Justin Haley. You know what that means? That is a double Kaulig top 5 in Cup. Could have possibly been a win for AJ Allmendinger. He kind of got horsed out of the way on that second to last restart by it was Kevin Harvick who put him in the grass.
Yep.
Chris Buescher, Bubba Wallace, P7.
We should not skip over that because everybody knows how notoriously bad Bubba Wallace is on the road courses. Now, we don't need to talk about the circumstances that got him into the top 10. We just need to know that he secured the top 10, and that's good.
Chase Briscoe, gonna be a topic later on after we cover this finishing order on a hot topic that involved him getting into the next round. He finishes P9. Corey LaJoy, 12. Let that sink in for a second, folks.
I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that.
What happened to Chase Elliott? Chase Elliott did Chase Elliott things.
He got
Self-spin.
He's the one who got boing boing by Tyler.
Hey
Reddick,
man,
which is
say
beautiful.
man. This
Beautiful to see.
listen, as my dad says, Chase Elliott needed to get his speed on before he got peed on, and unfortunately, he got peed on.
He got peed on by Tyler.
Hey man, I love those shout out to that one guy on Instagram who makes those Chase Elliott self-spinning memes because it happened again, baby.
That is a name at Trimendation on Instagram. Go check him out.
Hell yeah, I'll give that guy a follow. I think he posted one already about this past weekend.
As a matter of fact, me and James were in one of those for the Coke 600, I believe. Isn't that right, James?
That is correct.
Because we just
moment of my life.
We just nice with it.
Biggest moment of my life.
Second, SHR driver to be in the headlines that we're going to talk about a little bit later. Cole Custer, 24th. I wonder how he got there.
Not the cold custard.
Mike Rockenfeller makes his what is this? His second start for Spire Motorsports. Great to see him there. Big boy Josh Williams in the 78. Connor Daly, IndyCar driver. A great personality, sometimes an NBC commentator. In the 50 this weekend for the money team. Great scheme, 34th. Not a great car. Didn't really expect much. Now, here we go to the absolute Giga Chads from 35th to 37th. We got Kyle Larson, Daniel Suarez, and Ross Chastain. Any comments, Cory and Jose?
Nope. No. I plead the fifth and respect the American Constitution.
I'll just say Daniel Suarez is probably the strongest NASCAR driver on the field right now. So no one mess with him because I feel like he'd knock any driver out with how swole he got after dealing with that.
Hey, remember he was already knocking out people before this. Michael McDowell.
Damn, we didn't have to do him like that.
You didn't have to do him like that, Kyle.
I apologize on behalf.
See, now what happens if we eventually land an interview with Michael McDowell and the first podcast we ever make is of us slandering him?
My bad.
You can't do that.
It's gonna give us the arc. We gotta squash. We gotta have beef with the entire field and then squash it like it's NASCAR Heat 5 over Twitter tweets.
Because all right, guys.
Unlike y'all, I don't want Martin Truex Jr. putting ants in my coleslaw. That's just me, though.
All right, guys. Well, let's switch over to the driver's point, the point standings here after the Charlotte Roval, the elimination race that NBC hyped more than the Daytona 500 this year. Let's look at the guys who are out. It's Alex Bowman, also known as Concussion Bowman, out.
Jesus Christ, Kyle. God damn.
That's quite offensive. I don't think you can make jokes like that.
Austin Cindric, Daniel Suarez, and Kyle Larson. Personally, I'm really sad to see Austin Cindric go out on a road course. I really thought that he would have a stronger run on at the Roval to at least give him a shot. Daniel Suarez and Kyle Larson both had their separate incidents. let's look at the guys who made it. You got first seed is Chase Elliott, everybody's favorite.
Boo.
Currently leading by 20 points over Joey Logano, everybody's favorite.
Boo.
And then third is Ross Chastain. Some people like him. Christopher Bell.
He's cool.
He's cool.
Yeah.
YRB Ryan Blaney in P5.
Yes, sir.
with
That's
with
a guy. That's a guy I
with
can get
no
behind
wins
right
on the
there.
season. Everybody here in the Driving in Circles podcast calling a Ryan Blaney Daniel Hemrick 2021 Xfinity Championship. We're calling it now. He's gonna make it to Phoenix and just win the last race.
Nah, he's gonna keep that Menards magic and save big money at Menards, just like Matt Crafton did in 2019, and get the Menards championship without no wins.
P6, we got William Byron, who's been absolute dog shit, and is also the reason why. Kyle Larson
Oh, I forgot about that.
missed
Ooh,
the
nah,
next
B.
round.
Nah,
Corey
son. I'm
Corey
trying
has
to
been
stay
talking to
calm.
us
I've been
that he
trying to
has
stay calm,
major
bro.
beef with with William Byron right now.
All I gotta say is we need to establish like a swear jar, and I'm gonna just put in 100 so I can be covered for the next 20 episodes. I swear, bro.
P7, Denny Hamlin, he's been just mid this entire season. I don't know how to put it. Surprised he made the round of 8.
He's been efficient.
And then we have Mr. Briscoe.
Should we move on to the hot topic right now? Move on to the hot lap right now?
I think we got 2 hot laps this episode. You guys are in for a treat. This is the first episode treat for you guys. We got 2 hot laps. Hot lap, the segment where we talk about hot takes and see if they're cool or you're about to blow a tire on the racetrack, because this is insane. We got 2 of them. One covering what happened at the end of that NASCAR race, and then just overall 2v2 tag team style on which sanctioning body is worse. Let's go with the Custer incident. We're gonna call it Spingate 2.0 here. God, somebody want to break it down for me?
This is what happened with the cold custard incident, right? On aisle 5. So basically what happened was it was like the white flag or 2 laps ago, or late in the race, right? And Chase Briscoe needed a couple of spots to make it to the above the cut line to bump out a certain, something happened. So basically Cole Custer saw him approaching, and then the spotter and the crew chief was like, "You got to flat, slow down." And Cole Custer took that as this position. Hey, Chase Briscoe, you can have it. Brake, destroyed the entire inside. Not really, but he braked, slowed up everybody, and Chase Briscoe just scooched on by let me scoot on by him. Excuse me. Yeah, like a white woman shopping for groceries or something. There's like a cart chicane in the middle of the Kroger aisle. I don't know if that made any sense.
I mean, and then as of probably this morning, Fox and NASCAR themselves have released the audio that came from the 41 team, and as you guys know, did give them a penalty. I find this kind of stupid. This penalty is so stupid because so many other teams have done this in the past of just letting other drivers by. I mean, Cole Custer didn't even cause a caution or anything. He just braked. I mean, he braked. Everybody, there was no crash. Everybody was able to get around him. He actually lost 10 more spots at the end. What was his penalty? He ended up losing 25, 50 drivers' points and 50 owners' points for this. I mean, it's stupid.
Well, I mean, it's not gonna matter considering that team is just done for the season anyway. They just shipped everything off for next season. I'm guessing that's what the plan was. Yeah.
But I mean, I hate to be that guy, but James, we got to bring up HMS again. We got to look at last year's Bristol race. I mean,
oh, brother.
I'm not gonna lie. I think that was something completely different.
Yeah, that was one of these is retaliation. One of these is blatant team orders. No one said, "Ayo, Chase, destroy Kevin Harvick for me. Thank you. And also,
Chase
Larson and
Elliott, out
Elliott
of
had
his
advanced
own
already.
free will, said, Kevin Harvick screwed me over earlier. I'm going to screw him over again. And it just so happened to help Larson. I'm sure he probably would have done the same thing had any other driver been in second place chasing down Harvick.
Well, you see, here's the thing: is that NASCAR managed to weasel their way into a happy medium where they penalized the car that was given the team orders, but the car that benefited from this still made the next round. How does that
I
work?
feel like that was pretty. I feel like nobody should have gotten it. But if you're not going to penalize Briscoe, which is probably the only person that should be penalized because the team order was specifically to help him. If you're not going to penalize Briscoe, then you shouldn't penalize anybody. I feel like that's a cop out move to try and say that you're against. I'm making air quotes. You're against the team orders, but you're just letting them get away with team orders because you're not punishing the benefiting party. It doesn't make any sense.
Exactly. Especially Kyle Larson missed out by 2 points. Briscoe gained those 2 points in that final chicane. Like, why not just put Kyle Larson in? If you're gonna penalize somebody, why would you penalize somebody who's 21st in the standings and is just actually, from their perspective, it's not a wrong move because you know what, Cole Custer has nothing to gain, nothing to lose. Chase Briscoe had everything to gain, everything to lose. So, I mean, that just really makes me angry about how NASCAR really dealt with that situation because the guy still gets to race 3 more races, while Kyle Larson is going to be just another driver in the field. Let's move on to the second hot lap take. Who is worse, tag team edition? The NASCAR sanctioning body or the FIA? For NASCAR's worst, we got Cory and Jose, and then for the FIA's worst, we got me and James. Anybody would like to make an opening argument?
NASCAR is just. I'm not gonna say a bunch of obscenities, but yeah, the inconsistency. All you gotta say is double yellow line rule, and that says everything.
They're consistently inconsistent. It's pretty disgusting being a NASCAR fan right now, especially with all the stuff going on with the next gen stuff. But granted, they are doing better by performing crash tests and for next season to make the next gen car safer. But it's I wouldn't say it's too late. It is too late because we're probably going to lose Kurt Busch this year, retiring early. Um, but to me, officiating wise, it all started last week when William Byron's penalty got reduced to just the fine. So that obviously benefited Byron and helped eliminate Larson in the long run. No, not intentionally. They're just it's disgusting. The way NASCAR has been handling some of these penalties. In my opinion, the William Byron thing was handled wrong. I feel like the penalty was enough. Um, it's just an ongoing thing with NASCAR they've been doing, being consistently inconsistent. And the fine for Cole Custer is a little bit too outrageous for me. To me, it wasn't, team orders. It was he was losing the tire. They say in the radio. So it is what it is. That's how I feel about the subject. The FIA obviously has been, as of recent, been bad. But in my opinion, NASCAR has been a lot worse.
See, for me, I feel like the FIA going back to Abu Dhabi 2021 have been.
Oh, brother, this
Don't
guy.
say that. Don't give me that old brother.
Oh,
Don't give me
brother.
that old brother. Race directors in the FIA, the Formula One
Well,
race directors,
wait, we
and the
gotta fill in
FIA
why
in
we said
general.
that. We gotta fill in the context. I'm a Red Bull fan. He's a Mercedes fan. I like Max. He hates Max. He likes Lewis. I could care less about Lewis. That's why this is such a hot topic between me and James. So anyway, continue on your spiel.
Okay. Personally, I think the FIA has made more mistakes ruining racing in ruining the racing than the NASCAR sanctioning body, because most of the time the mistakes that the NASCAR sanctioning body don't end up giving a direct effect to the racing. See, we go back to last year and we go back to the apps the how do you say mishandlement of how the FIA is trying to enforce these new cost caps, and how these cost caps are so important to the FIA. So important because they say millions of dollars provide so much time, provide so many tenths, half a second a lap, seconds a lap, and they still cannot correctly enforce these cost cutting measures, and not these cost, but these overspending measures to Red Bull and to Aston Martin. And I think personally that is a huge problem, because it's looking like nothing is gonna happen to Red Bull because they just chalked it under the food budget, which I don't believe at all. It's a bunch of malarkey.
Hey
They
man,
threw it under
Christian
the.
Horner is hungry. They
They
gotta
they
feed
they
the
they
hungry.
they're winning so much they gotta go out and celebrate. You know, they
They
gotta.
hungry, bro. DoorDash.
Yeah,
Here's
you,
the thing. See, unlike Bubba Wallace, Red Bull doesn't have DoorDash sponsorship. James, do you ever think about that?
They probably
No.
shouldn't be taking money out the Formula One budget to go to Walmart and go to Mackey's after every single
So
race.
are you just saying that they need to be deprived of the basic human right of
I'm
sustenance?
saying
yeah,
that they're
no, I
sponsored by
agree. Do you
Walmart,
not?
and
I
why are they
agree.
spending so
Do you
much
not
money
want them
on
to eat?
food?
Do you not want them to eat, brother? Formula One drivers, they gotta have high class meals. They're not gonna go home like us and eat.
Why are they taking that out of the team budget is my question.
Well, maybe they just forgot the credit card at home or something. You know,
Hey man,
You
Christian
cannot.
Horner may have
I will not
accidentally
have
swiped on
this.
the
I
company
will
credit
not have
card.
this. I don't want them putting front wings under the food budget and saying I just went to Buffalo Wild Wings. That's what the wings are
they
under the
gotta have
budget,
high
not
class.
the upgrades.
They gotta have high class food, man. That's how those athletes, you know, they stay up. You know, they gotta.
Max Verstappen is the highest paid F1 driver in terms of pure F1 salary, not sponsorship. I will not have this.
They forget their wallets at home, man. It happens to the best of us. There you go.
I will not have.
Hey, my argument, the race control on wet weather races, all the wet weather races ever since last year's Spa race have been absolutely atrocious. Absolutely atrocious. I mean, last week last week at Singapore was a real eye opener to like how inconsistent the FIA is on calling what brings out a safety car, what brings out a virtual safety car. Um, then this weekend at Suzuka was a how would I say this? This was a mental blunder for the entire F1 sanctioning body. Like everyone looked silly, just looked so bad on TV. I ended up watching the entire race through the rain delay. It was so painful to watch. And then just for them to run 28 laps, call it, and then give full points after. This is literally the first race in these conditions after Spa where they had entirely made a new section of the regulations for, and then they just don't enforce them. I ended up watching. I saw a video on TikTok. Shout out to JBone F1. He explained that in the rule book, that if a race starts but then stops and cannot be resumed, then um that's where they insert the
Half
the
points and quarter
half
points
points. But
and
if a race is to be delayed and then start, but then finish under green, then they are awarded full points. What are we doing, FIA? Let's fix this because this is insane. Max Verstappen it up 1 week earlier. I mean, it was inevitable that he was going to lock it up. As a Ferrari fan, I could see it
here's
already
the
being
thing,
run around
Kyle.
the wall.
Sometimes
But
you're just like
Jesus,
I feel like everybody's fed up because like you're just delaying the pick where you want to lose. Do you want to lose in Japan? Do you want to rip the band-aid off in Coda? Would you rather carry it to Abu Dhabi? What do you want, Kyle? Where would you like your hope to be crushed, Kyle? Specifically where?
I mean, I'm just saying, like, if if we're gonna make this whole new point system of half races, let's actually use them in a perfectly good spot where we need to use them.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong. Because they set these standards out of, oh, we have to make sure that we're not handing out half points for only running 2 laps. We gotta make sure that it's fair. We can only run a certain amount of laps, this, that, and the third, and then they don't uphold the rules that they were so uptight about making. It doesn't make any sense.
Hell, even Max Verstappen thought they were handing out half points because they only ran 50% of the race.
Obviously, both sanctioning bodies have been pretty horrendous the past month, but I mean, when it comes to F1, I mean, it's inevitable. Max, we all know Max eventually is gonna get the title, which he did. Um, but NASCAR, this is affecting the playoff system, and to think that they're encouraging this style of racing, and when that style of racing happens and drama happens because of the playoffs, they're kind of punishing they're punishing the drivers. To me, the playoffs encourage kind of team orders, not really, but it's just, to me, the NASCAR, it's more of an effect on NASCAR. So I think, in a sense, blunders have been worse than the FIA.
I mean, let's just come to an agreement that both are terrible and both will not be fixed anytime soon. So, as race fans, we're just gonna have to put up with it. Just pray that they just get it right every time.
I mean, yeah, we're still gonna watch we're watching Las Vegas.
Most definitely. I'm gonna buy the merch. I'm gonna watch every single race I can.
We're gonna buy into their capitalism, but we're gonna complain a little bit about it. Make us feel like we have a little bit of power, but
we're gonna still watch your cars go around in circles, but we're not gonna be happy about it.
They got us in that bubble. They got us trapped. All right. Well, that's let's move on to a new segment with our guest. We're gonna call this Diecast Corners with Jose Homecup Jr.
So yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna go over a couple things. First of all, I'd like to say Home Cup is starting next week, next Monday. We start the Home Cup season. All these guys are in it, and one of the bigger series on Instagram, so I'm pretty excited for it. But when it comes to actual diecast, some real nice diecast came out this week. A lot of the diecast chassis versions for William Byron. There's a heap of that have just come out. My top 3 favorites are the Bubba Wallace Columbia, the one that came out, the one that drove the Bristol Dirt Race. The William Byron Jeff Gordon throwback. That's a beautiful car, and I think the must-have for these cars that just released is that Kurt Busch Kansas win, which unfortunately is gonna probably be, knock on wood, the last race win for Kurt Busch in 164 scale. So to me, that's gotta be an automatic pickup, especially with how popular that car is with the Jordan elephant prints on it. So that's really gonna be it for my segment. To me, you have to pick up that Kurt Busch Jordan car because it's a valuable collectible, especially with it most likely being Kurt Busch's last one in NASCAR.
As a matter of fact, I am on eBay as we speak, trying to find it right now as we speak.
So, we're all diecast collectors here, and that is definitely going to be a car I will pay a pretty penny for. All right, well, guys, let's wrap up this first episode with our predictions. Yes, this is going to be the last segment on our show. Every week we will have a predictions segment. This upcoming weekend, a very short weekend in terms of racing, just the NASCAR Cup Series, racing at Las Vegas, the Xfinity Series, and the Cup Series. So we'll just break down real quick who we got and just a little description why we picked them. For Xfinity, we got James first.
I picked Landon Castle. Some of you might think this is a stupid pick. He hasn't shown the pace all year, this, that, and the third. I do not care. Landon Castle has been teammate of the year ever since Daytona. And I feel like he finally says, I need one for me. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to perform better than everyone else. It doesn't matter he's not in the playoffs. It's a must win for Landon Castle for his confidence for next year and his confidence going forward as a race car driver.
I love that pick. That's, as a Landon Castle fan, that hit me very close to home. Cory, who you got?
Josh Berry. That is all.
I mean, reasonable pick. Last year's winner in the playoffs. I mean, won in that one card. What else can you say? I am personally picking the driver of that number 19 JGR car, that Menards car. I'm going Brandon Jones. I just have a great feeling. He's been so fast on the intermediate 1.5 mile tracks. I think this is where they get it. I think this is where he gets it done. Jose.
I'm gonna be in the same boat as Cory. To me, it's got to be Josh Berry. I feel like everyone's expecting probably a Noah Gragson or Ty Gibbs show again, but I think Josh Berry can go up there, like you said, last year's winner, and blow this up, get into the Final Four.
Yeah, I mean, great picks all around. Thank goodness nobody picked Noah Gragson, because then we would have to have a talk after this. Let's go on to Cup. James, who you got for the Cup race?
Another unorthodox pick, but I'm picking Kyle Busch. This is one of Kyle Busch's final races in the 18 in Las Vegas, in his hometown of Las Vegas. I feel like this is where Kyle Busch has to get it done. Final send off, final little hoorah from Joe Gibbs race, and I feel like this is where Kyle Busch gets his final win in the iconic number 8 team, hopefully Eminem's car.
All right, Cory, who you got?
Eric Jones. That is all once again.
Eric Jones showed massive speed at Texas as well, and a lot of the 1.5 mile and 1.5 mile tracks. He is definitely a dark horse. I really like that pick, Cory. I'm gonna have to go with Christopher Bell, last week's winner. He's got so much momentum riding on his coattails. He is fourth in the standings right now, so I feel like Joe Gibbs is gonna give him a winning car, and they're just gonna go for it. They're just gonna go all out. They're gonna sell out on this race. I think Christopher Bell is your winner. Jose, who you got?
Barring any shenanigans, Ross Chastain to me has been one of the dominant forces on these mile and a halves. I could see him winning this race 100%, and I can probably see him winning at Homestead, or at least, lock himself in the championship for this round. To me, is an automatic lock for the championship for.
I mean, he can't go wrong. Ross Chastain led over 100 laps in the spring race. That is definitely a safe pick. I think everybody here has got strong picks, except for James there with the Kyle Busch pick. But hey, anyway, we're going to wrap it up here for the Driving in Circles podcast, episode 1, The Pilot. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll catch you next week. Everybody, say goodbye.
Sayonara.
Thank you for having
Abagool.
me. Thank you for having me. So much fun.